happiness isn't far away. Have you ever sat in silence on a windy afternoon, watching the bustling crowds on the street, and wondered, what is happiness? When will I truly feel at peace? A young woman, every morning squeezed into an overcrowded bus, worried about being late for work, while her phone keeps ringing. Her breakfast is often just a hasty bite of bread, and smiles seem like a luxury. One night, she sat at her desk, staring blankly, realizing that she was living but not truly alive. She was tired, but didn't dare to stop. She was sad, but told herself to be strong. She wanted happiness, but didn't know where to begin. An elderly man, retired, living with his little dog. His small house in a quiet alley, day after day, only the sound of the radio and the wind passing through the windows. His children are grown and far away, only visiting occasionally. Sometimes a call to check in once a month. Yet every morning, he still wakes up early to make tea, sitting and watching the sunlight through the trees in the yard. He says happiness is when you're healthy enough to cook your own meals and hear the birds singing every morning. Each of us has our own definition of happiness. Some people seek happiness in luxurious possessions, in perfect love, or at the pinnacle of fame. But some people only need a meal with fish sauce, a pair of eyes that know how to smile, or an afternoon without rushing. And that is enough. And then we get so busy that we forget. Happiness is not far away. It doesn't come from the grand things we push ourselves to chase. It's in the little everyday things, in how we see the world, with eyes full of gratitude and hearts that know how to let go. The Buddha once taught, don't wait for happiness. If you just sit there and wait for happiness to come to you, you will wait your whole life. Happiness does not come from the outside, but from within yourself. We keep chasing vague things, searching for a happy tomorrow, forgetting that each present moment, if we know how to stop, listen to ourselves, and let go of unnecessary burdens, happiness is already very close. Happiness is not in what we have, but in how we live with what we have. And letting go is not a loss, but a way to live lighter, deeper, and more authentically. Every day, life will ask us, are you truly living as yourself? Are you cherishing the present moment? And do you have the courage to let go of what can't be held, to live for what is worth living for? If today you feel lost, please, let's listen to the Buddha's teachings. Not with the mind, but with the heart. In the silence amidst the chaos, with a breath that slows down amidst the worries that never cease. Perhaps this is the moment when you begin to step into the door of true happiness. Not loud, not glamorous, but deep, serene, and full of peace. We have heard many teachings from the Buddha about happiness, but the hardest thing is not to understand those teachings, but to live by them. 1. Don't wait for happiness. Create it yourself. So how can we create happiness? Happiness is not a gift handed to us, but something we nurture every day. It's like a small garden in the mind. If each day you water it with gratitude, pull the weeds with mindfulness, and plant seeds with kindness, sooner or later, that garden will bloom. Here's a story. A young girl asked a Zen master, "Master, why don't I feel happy even though I have everything? A stable job, good friends, a loving family." The Zen master smiled and poured her a cup of water. "Walk around the yard and keep this cup of water without spilling a drop." The girl carefully walked around, and when she returned, the master asked, "While walking, did you hear the birds singing?" "No, master." "Did you hear the wind?" "No." "Did you see how beautiful the sunlight is?" The girl lowered her head. "No, I was only focused on keeping the water from spilling." The master said, "That's your problem. You have everything you need for happiness, but your mind is too busy holding on to something that might break. Therefore, you miss all the beauty around you." We are the same. Every day we carry worries, fear of losing our job, losing someone, not being successful. And because of this, we cannot fully live in the present moment, where true happiness resides. 2. Letting go, not giving up. Many people, when they hear the word let go, think of surrender, giving up. But the Buddha's teaching is not like that. Letting go is not running away. Letting go is an active, mindful choice, choosing to release the things that cause us pain, choosing to lighten the load so we can walk more steadily. Like the famous story of the teacup. A man asked a monk, "Master, why can't I let go of those who hurt me?" The master didn't answer. He kept pouring tea into the man's cup, never stopping. The man panicked as the hot tea overflowed and burned his hands. "Master, it hurts." "That's right. When you truly feel the pain, you will let go yourself. As long as you still hold on to false hope and unrealistic dreams, you will keep clinging to the very thing that hurts you. So letting go is not something that happens instantly. It's a process. It's the maturity of the soul. It's when we understand and love ourselves enough not to hold on to things that tear our hearts apart. 3. The more we know enough, the easier it is to be happy. There is an old saying, knowing enough brings happiness. Those who know enough are often happy. However, the world teaches us the opposite. We must have more to be successful, own more to be worthy of life. A person walks past a flower garden and always thinks, "I wish I had a beautiful garden like this." But the owner of the garden is inside the house, looking out at the street, sighing, "I wish I could be as free as that person." We keep running, wishing, envying, and then we become tired. We don't realize that happiness is stopping. It's gratitude. It's smiling at what we have, even if it's small. Once my friend lost his job. He was truly devastated. But one day he told me, "Last night I came home late. It was raining, and someone opened the door waiting for me with dry sandals." I realized I'm still so lucky. I understood then that happiness is really as simple as that. 4. Peace begins from within. No one can give you peace if you don't create it yourself. There was a time when I found myself in a constant state of anxiety. Every morning, instead of taking a deep breath and smiling, I would rush to turn on my phone, check work, messages, and then dive into a chaotic mess. I sought peace by trying to control everything, schedules, others, even my own emotions. But strangely, the more I tried to control, the more chaotic I became. One day, I happened to meet an old man meditating under a tree in the park. He smiled and asked, "Where are you rushing off to with such a tense face?" I answered vaguely, "I'm looking for peace, sir." He pointed at my chest. "It's right here." "Why are you looking so far?" The Buddha teaches that a calm mind creates a peaceful world. You don't need to climb high mountains, visit large temples, or force yourself to fake tranquility. All you need to do is stop, sit down, and look inside. That is mindfulness. That is practice. And that is the foundation of all happiness. 5. The more selfless you are, the more peace blossoms in your heart. Have you noticed? Those who always think of others are often the happiest. Not because they receive a lot, but because they give in the right way. It's like a person giving directions to a tourist, a seemingly simple act, but it sows a seed of goodness. When you make someone smile, you are the one who receives the first light. I remember once, in the middle of a sunset afternoon, I saw a young boy helping an elderly woman cross the street. The light in his eyes shone brighter than the last rays of the sun. I couldn't help but smile. And in that moment, I saw how beautiful life still is. 6. Learn to accept what cannot be changed. In life, there are things we do nothing about, but learn to accept. But acceptance does not mean resignation or giving up. It means opening your heart to live with reality, without resistance, without blame. A mother with a disabled child once shared, "Every morning, I wake up and see my child still alive, and I thank life. My child is not like other children, but I don't need that. I just need my child to live, to be happy, to be themselves. The rest, I will do my part as a mother." I was silent when I heard that. Acceptance is not weakness, but courage. Courage to live kindly in an imperfect reality. And this very thing makes us stronger than any physical strength. 7. Meditation is a way of returning, not to escape, but to understand. You don't need to sit still for hours. Sometimes, just a few minutes of mindfulness each day is enough to change your life. A deep breath, a moment to watch the clouds, a morning without rushing. All of these are meditation if we are fully present with them. The ancients said, meditation is not about posture, it's about the state of mind. If you are eating and truly savoring the sweetness of an apple, that is meditation. If you are washing dishes and being aware of every drop of water flowing through your hands, that is meditation. Meditation is not about detaching from life. Meditation is about living more deeply with this life. 5 things to let go to keep happiness close. 1. Let go of resentment, because holding on to anger is like holding burning coals, and the first one to get hurt is yourself. Resentment is a kind of poison that we often reserve for ourselves. When someone hurts us, the first emotion is anger. But if we hold on to that anger, it's no different from holding a flame in our hands. Over time, we will burn ourselves before the other person even notices. There is a very good story. A man came to see the Buddha and cursed at him harshly. The Buddha remained silent, his face unmoved. When the man eventually left, a disciple asked, "Venerable, why didn't you respond?" The Buddha smiled. If someone brings a gift to you and you don't accept it, to whom does the gift belong? It still belongs to the person who brought it. I do not accept those words. They do not belong to me. Anger is a reaction. Forgiveness is a choice. Not because someone deserves forgiveness, but because we deserve peace. 2. Let go of jealousy, because no one is the same. Everyone has their own season of flowers. Have you ever seen someone successful and happy and felt a little jealousy? Not because you are a bad person, but because you forget that each person's journey is different. Did you know a lotus needs mud? It doesn't need to compete with a rose. The moon doesn't compete with the sun. Each shines at its own time. Once I felt like I was falling behind when my friends around my age were stable with houses, cars, and families. I felt stressed and insecure. But then, one day, I saw the image of a seedling pushing up through a crack in the stone, small yet strong. It didn't grow fast, but it still lived, still beautiful. I realized I don't need to be better than others. I only need to be better than I was yesterday. 3. Let go of the habit of judgment, so the heart has space for understanding and love. We often look at others through the lens of our own experiences. Someone dressed sloppily, we think they are careless. Someone who is silent, we think they are proud. Someone who cries easily, we think they are weak. But how do we know the full story behind their appearance? Once, I saw a woman scolding a shopkeeper. I didn't like her, but then I accidentally learned that she had just lost her son in an accident, and since then, she had been living like a broken person. I was stunned, and I felt ashamed of my hasty judgment. The Buddha taught, see things as they truly are. To do so, we must learn to see with compassion, not with the ego. 4. Let go of the past, because it is something that cannot be changed. Many of us live as if we are carrying an invisible backpack, filled with past events. A childhood sorrow, a time of betrayal, a harsh word from years ago. We carry them everywhere we go, never letting go. And every time the wind blows, our hearts stir. But try to imagine standing in the middle of a lush green field. The sky is clear, the wind is gentle. If you sit down, take off the backpack, and let the wind carry each burden away, what will you feel? Lightness, a new beginning, freedom. We are not the things that happen to us. We are the ones who choose how to live with those things. 5. Let go of unrealistic expectations, because happiness comes from the present, not from a fantasized future. A person who always has high expectations for life easily gets disappointed. A person who always expects others to understand them perfectly easily feels lonely. A person who is always waiting for a better tomorrow easily misses today. I once heard a girl say, "I thought happiness was when I could marry someone who loves me like in the movies." But now, I just hope to marry someone who can wash dishes with me, sit down and listen to me, and not leave when I'm feeling down. Hearing that, I didn't see her as disappointed. I saw her growing up. When you lower your expectations, you raise your happiness. Not because you are resigning, but because you are living truthfully and living enough. Stories as light as leaves, as deep as the wind. 1. The teacup. When it hurts, let go. A man went to the temple and asked the Zen master, "Master, why is it so hard for some people to let go?" "There is nothing that can't be let go of," the master replied. "It's just that you haven't heard enough yet." Then the master asked him to hold a teacup. The master began to pour tea. The tea started overflowing, hot. "Does it hurt?" "Yes, it hurts a lot." The man quickly set the cup down. The master smiled. "See? When it hurts enough, people will let go by themselves." Letting go doesn't mean we no longer care, but rather that holding on will cause our hearts to fester. People often ask, how do you let go of someone you love deeply? The answer is, when love is no longer love but a torment, then letting go is the truest form of love. 2. The shadow of the past. The more you chase, the heavier it becomes. A young man carried with him a sad memory from childhood, being abandoned. Even though he grew up with everything he needed, he still often became angry, sad without reason, and isolated himself. He went to see the Zen master. "I always feel like the past is dragging me down, and I can't escape it." The Zen master handed him a heavy cloth bag. "Wear it for a whole day, walk around the temple, and don't put it down." A day passed, and the young man was tired and his back ached. "Master, I can't take it anymore. So why don't you put it down?" "I thought you didn't allow it. I've never tied you down. Only you have tied yourself." The past no longer exists. It's the emotions we hold on to that keep it alive. The key to freedom doesn't lie in anyone else's hands. It lies in the decision to put down the burden. 3 old scars. Learning to smile at the pain. A woman lost her husband in a traffic accident. Every night, she would cry as she looked at his old shirt. One day, her young child asked, "Are you crying because of the shirt?" She was startled. Indeed, the shirt can't cry, but she had let her tears fall for it. She realized she was crying for something she couldn't change, not for herself today. The next day, she folded the shirt, put it in a box, and wrote a note. "Thank you for passing through my life. I will continue living for myself, for my child, and for the days ahead." The pain doesn't go away. It just learns to sit quietly in the heart, no longer causing a stir. When we can smile at the scar, we have begun to heal. 4. The story of the shoes. Everything is interconnected. A man bought a beautiful pair of shoes, but they hurt his feet when he wore them. He returned them. The shopkeeper asked, "Why didn't you try them on properly before buying?" "I did, but I tried them on a carpet and they felt great." The shopkeeper laughed. "Yes, but life isn't always on a carpet. You have to walk on stones to see if the shoes are really a good fit." Love is like that too. It's not always the most beautiful at first sight that's the most suitable. It's not always the right moment that ensures you walk together until the end. Fate comes like a pair of shoes, sometimes beautiful and fitting, but not meant for a long journey. Thank it for making your steps beautiful for a while. Then, let it go to find another pair. Softer, more stable. 5. A day of awakening. No magic, just enough. One morning, a middle-aged man woke up, made a cup of black coffee, and sat on the balcony. It was lightly raining. His wife was watering the plants. His daughter was brushing her hair, preparing to go to school. Everything was very ordinary. But suddenly, he felt a strange sensation rise in his heart. I'm living in the midst of a miracle. Why hadn't I noticed this before? Nothing had happened. He was simply awake. Awake from the illusion that something needs to change to be happy. Awake from the habit of complaining. Awake from the dream of a better tomorrow, forgetting that the present is already a miracle. And that was the first morning, after many years, that he truly knew how to smile. When life becomes metaphors. 1. A pair of shoes. If they don't fit, don't keep walking. People often hesitate to throw away a pair of shoes they've worn for a long time because they've gotten used to them. Even if they're tight, cause pain, and make our feet bleed every day, we keep walking because we feel regretful. But the Buddha taught, what no longer fits, no matter how beautiful it is, should be let go. A beautiful pair of shoes that causes you pain is not the pair for you. Similarly, a beautiful relationship that continually hurts you is not true love. Letting go doesn't mean failure. Letting go is when you value your own feet more, rather than chasing the shadow of something that once was beautiful. 2. A full cup. To pour something new, you must first empty the old. The Zen master asked his disciple, "You've come to learn something new, but your mind is already full of prejudices, anger, and anxiety." I don't understand. The Zen master poured water into the cup until it overflowed. It's full. It cannot take any more. If your mind is always full of worries, peace will have no place to enter. If your head is always filled with judgment, truth will never have a voice. To receive something new, you must first clear away the old, whether it's a sadness, an attachment, or an unfinished story. 3. The moon, growing brighter through virtue, darkening through karma. The Buddha taught, a person who does good is like the moon waxing from the first day to the 15th, growing brighter. A person who does evil is like the moon waning from the 15th to the 30th, growing dimmer. Every act of kindness, every compassionate thought is a small light in our heart. You don't have to accomplish great feats. Just do good every day, and your heart will gradually brighten, like the moon, which doesn't force its brightness, but steadily fills. Conversely, if every day you nourish jealousy, selfishness, and hatred, your heart will gradually darken, even if the outside world appears radiant. Don't worry if you're not bright enough yet. As long as you continue turning toward the light, one day you will be the moon in the world. 4. The dusty mirror. You must wipe it to see yourself clearly. There was a beautiful mirror forgotten in a storage room for a long time. One day it was found, but it was cloudy, covered in dust, and couldn't reflect anything. Someone said, "This mirror is broken." But an old man quietly took a cloth and wiped off each layer of dust. Then the light shone brightly. Our hearts are the same. You're not bad, you're just covered in too many layers of dust. Anger, jealousy, and the past. Wipe them away, little by little, every day. And you'll see that you've always been pure and radiant, just like you were at the beginning. 5. A pebble in the shoe. Small, but makes you uncomfortable all day. A small pebble gets into your shoe. You think, it's just a tiny thing, I can keep going. But all day, it makes your walk uncomfortable. A tiring day passes, all because of something that could have been removed in just 30 seconds. How many negative emotions, petty words, and old wounds are the small stones in your shoe? They might seem insignificant, but they lead your mind astray over a long journey. Stop, gently take off your shoes, remove the pebble, then continue, lighter, steadier. If tomorrow I let go of myself. 1. If tomorrow I'm gone, how would I live today? One morning I asked myself, if tomorrow is the last day, how would I live today? That question made me pause. I wouldn't check social media anymore. I would call my mom and say, I miss you. I would eat a meal slowly, bask in the sunlight for a long time, and hug the people I love tight. I would forgive, both others and myself. The Buddha taught, life is impermanent. Live as if each moment is your last. Not to be fearful, but to deeply appreciate every small thing. Because who can be sure they'll get the chance to say thank you tomorrow? 2. A life full of accumulation. What can we take with us? We spend our lives accumulating money, fame, material possessions, houses, relationships, but in the end we leave with nothing, just like when we arrived. A Zen master once said, when we close our eyes, we cannot take anything with us, except whether our hearts are at peace. A wealthy man passed away. His family fought over his assets. But in his room, only a note was left behind. If I could live again, I would ask for just one day of peace with the ones I love. True happiness, it turns out, is not as expensive as we think. It's in the simple things we once took for granted. 3. Don't wait until it hurts to know how to love. People often learn to love right after losing. Only appreciate time when parents grow old. Only cherish your partner when they no longer sit at the dinner table every evening. A man wrote in his diary after his wife passed away, "For 30 years together, I never made her a cup of tea. Now, I make tea all day, but there's no one to drink it." The Buddha taught, happiness is not about how much you have, but how much you appreciate what you have. Please don't wait until you're apart to realize how much you love. Love while you can still hold hands, while you can still call their name. 4. Live truly, because everyone will eventually leave. There are people you think are forever, and then one day they leave. No reasons, no promises, no looking back. Only you and the empty spaces. And then you understand, life is a station. Everyone is just a traveler. You are only responsible for living truthfully, not superficially, not pretending. Living truthfully doesn't mean being blunt to the point of hurting others. It means living without fragmenting your heart, not playing a role in anyone's life, and not tiring yourself out by forcing things. 5. When you are truly at peace, the world will calm down. Have you noticed? When your heart is at peace, everything becomes lighter. The rain feels less cold. A harsh word won't knock you down. A bad day won't carry you away anymore. The Buddha didn't promise us a life free of suffering. He taught us a mindset to face suffering without being defeated by it. When you practice letting go, little by little, let go of a judgment, let go of an incorrect expectation, let go of an unreasonable demand on yourself, you'll find that your mind becomes like a calm lake, gradually becoming still. The true happiness returning with every breath. 1. Impermanence, a lesson everyone knows but few live by. The Buddha clearly taught, all conditioned things are impermanent. This means that everything with form changes, yet we live as if everything is eternal. We love someone and wish to keep them forever. We have a good job and hope it never changes. We have health and think we're immortal. And it is precisely the denial of impermanence that causes our suffering. For everything in life is like the waves, sometimes rising, sometimes receding. Happiness is no exception. When you see impermanence clearly, but no longer fear it, you will live each day fully and know when to let go. To a calm mind, the root of all peace. It's not because the world is chaotic, it's because your heart is unsettled. On the contrary, it is your heart that's not at peace, which makes everything seem confusing. The Buddha once compared the mind to a still lake. If the surface of the water is disturbed by the wind, you won't see the bottom of the lake. Only when it calms down will everything become clear. Our minds are the same. If anger, jealousy, and worry disturb us, we won't see what we are truly living for. But if for just 1 minute you truly stop, you will hear the breath of life. You will hear what your heart is saying. A calm mind. It's not because life is easy, but because we know how to breathe amidst life. 3. Knowing enough. The shortest path to happiness. You don't need to wait until you have a house, car, a career, or someone to love before allowing yourself to be happy. You can be happy right now if you know how to look deeply into what you already have. A glass of water can be meditation if you drink it mindfully. A gentle gaze can be peace if you cherish it. A quiet morning can be a great gift if you open your heart to receive it. Happiness is not far away. It's present the moment you let go of distant illusions. 4. The true journey is returning to yourself. Have you ever felt lost? In a crowd? In your work? In relationships that seem close? It's not because you're wrong. It's because you've wandered too far from yourself. We chase ideal images. We must be smarter, more beautiful, more successful. But then we forget who we once were, what we once desired, and how we used to smile just because of a breezy afternoon. The journey of practice is not about climbing a high mountain, but returning to the quiet room in the heart where you can be fully yourself, complete and enough. 5. And finally, letting go is an act of love. Love doesn't necessarily mean holding on. Sometimes letting go is the final gift of kindness you can give to a person, a memory, or an old self. The Buddha doesn't teach us to be indifferent. The Buddha only teaches us to let go of the things that weigh us down so our souls can be empty and filled with light. When the mind is calm, the world is peaceful. Dear friend, if you have made it to the very end of these words, I believe that within you, some transformation has already taken place. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't need to change instantly. Just a little lightness in your heart, a moment of silence amidst the chaos, or a deeper breath, that itself is happiness. Life is constantly changing. Every day, we face a wide range of emotions: joy, sadness, exhaustion, disappointment, expectations, and despair. But the most precious thing is that amidst all these ups and downs, you are still here, breathing, living, and learning how to understand yourself. Happiness is not something you need to strive to find elsewhere. It is something you realize in the smallest of things: a morning without rushing, a loving glance, a moment when you dare to cry and lighten your heart, or simply standing still in the afternoon, watching the clouds drift by. You don't need to be perfect. You only need to be honest with your feelings and gentle with your weary heart. If there's anything to hold on to an open heart. If there's anything to let go of the old grudges. If there's anything to do, it's to forgive the imperfect parts of yourself. Finally, don't forget that peace is when you no longer wait for anything. You don't wait for others to understand. You don't wait for life to treat you fairly. You don't wait until you have everything to be happy. All you need to do is stop and ask yourself, am I living truly with my heart right now? Thank you for walking this journey with me. No matter who you are or where you are, I hope you will always be awake enough to see the beauty of life, be light enough to live freely, and be kind enough to not lose yourself in any of life's changes. I wish you a soft wish, peace, like a lotus flower in life, growing from the mud, but never soiled by it.